Okay, so we're live here with Mr. Grant Elliott, and we have a huge game on today where New Zealand is taking on India. And this game has a lot of context as well because whoever wins will have a strong chance of making it into the semi-finals. So, New Zealand are coming at the back of a loss, and so is India, both against Pakistan. So, I'm sure that both of the sides will be looking to register their first wins today. India has had their fair share of problems, but they've also had 1 week to sort out whatever problems they had. And New Zealand, they gave a bit of a fight to Pakistan, but obviously Asif Ali was somebody who really took the game away from them in the end. And perhaps their batting, out of all their departments, I feel like their batting is somewhat still more vulnerable. But to talk us through all of this, I've got Grant Elliott here with me. Very, very, very thank you to you, first of all, because I know that you're so occupied with your commentary and you have like so many other gigs that you're involved with. So, Grant, thank you so much. A huge thank you from my side to you. And how excited are you for this game? You know, it's like what, 3 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand? What time is it?
Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is. Zainab, thanks so much for having me here with you. I promised that I would do a preview before the Pakistan game and I didn't. So now I'm fulfilling my promise, but this is probably an even bigger game for Pakistan fans. Not normally. And I was very surprised when you said that New Zealand had lost their first game and so had India to Pakistan. And you said that without a smile on your face, because I've seen Pakistan fans around the world, they were still celebrating going into that game against New Zealand. So the celebrations must be immense. After what's happened in Pakistan with the cricket that was going to be played in Pakistan, how that didn't eventuate, and to come into a World Cup and win 2 from 2, it's really exciting for Pakistan fans and the cricket that they're playing. So I think Pakistan has surprised everyone, including their own fans. And, you know, Asif Ali, the way he finished that game the other day, it just shows the confidence in the squad. So looking at the two teams that have played Pakistan that meet today, there's 3 teams that still have a chance of essentially making that other spot. Pakistan will go through. Now we're looking in that pool to see if whether Afghanistan, New Zealand, or India, who all have to play each other, are going to be in that second spot. So in the context of this pool, this is a massive game. I've never commentated a more important game for both teams. Normally, like I do a series or whatever, but this is a World Cup T20. And a World Cup T20, India would love to, or they think they should always be there because, you know, of the IPL. The IPL's been going for over a decade now. And they definitely will want to be in those top 2 positions. So very exciting game. New Zealand's record at this ground is not very good. New Zealand's record, they've played 6 T20s here and they've only won 1, lost 5. So, and also, from what I understand, seam bowling hasn't been that effective in the evening here. And New Zealand has mainly seam attack. So will be very interesting to see how Gary Stead balances his team. The balance of the team was probably thrown out in the last game because of Ferguson's injury, but I suspect Adam Milne will come into the team, which gives New Zealand, if I can call it the Harris Ralph factor, someone with pace in the attack to try and get wickets through the middle and up front.
But even in the previous game, I thought, you know, even against Pakistan, I thought that they bowled pretty well. Like it's a decent bowling attack. You've got up until Saudi got hit for those 2 sixes in that over by Asif Ali. I think they had things very much in control. For when you look at New Zealand and how they performed, they've obviously got Trent Bolt. You know, they've got the names. They've got somebody like Santner. Ish Sodhi was absolutely magnificent with the ball. We saw that in the previous game as well. But just in terms of their batting, that's the one area where I feel they're slightly more vulnerable. I mean, they've got Martin Guptill right at the top, and he's somebody who's got a reputation. We are all aware of what he can do, but I mean, he's not really been in his best form in the last 2 years. That's the one of the things that we've seen from him. But New Zealand seems to be really having that faith in him that they stick to him.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, Martin Guptill, he's hit the most sixes ever in T20 cricket. Second to him is Rohit Sharma, 133 sixes. He's hit 147. Now, it's not all about sixes, but he's got the most power play runs by any batsman in T20s. So it's 1,755, which is almost 59% of his runs have been in the power play. So he always seems like a player that people kind of target, but maybe because he's the sort of player that you think should be carrying this batting order and, succeeding more often than not as a man of experience. The issue I've got with the New Zealand lineup in this game, going into the Indian game, is that I think it lacks a bit of power. When you look at the Indian players, they've got power. What it does have, though, the New Zealand batting lineup, is it's got a little bit of, I guess, there's more batsmanship, the craft of Conway and Williamson. I think that if it's a pitch which is a low-scoring pitch, that will favour New Zealand, because hopefully Conway and Williamson, who can play 360 around the field, they can carry the batting lineup, and then you have the more aggressive players like Phillips and Guptill and hopefully Neesham that can score aggressively. If it's a flat wicket and a high-scoring game and it suits the batters, I think that it'll be tough to beat India today.
Now, I read somewhere that Trent Bolt made a comment that he'd like to start against India the way Pakistan started against them, with Shaheen Shah Afridi's left arm pace, swinging into the right-handers and getting all those LBWs and pads into play. So, I mean, that is what Trent Bolt is also known for. He has that ability to swing the ball at that ferocious pace. I mean, that is certainly an advantage for them, because the Indian openers do seem to struggle in with that kind of length and that kind of left arm pace bowling.
Yeah, Trent Bolt's been speaking to the press about that and saying hopefully the ball swings, and we know if it swings, to try and expose that pad of both KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma at the top of the innings is key, and that's what Shaheen Shah Afridi has done so well. I mean, Shaheen Shah Afridi, he comes from such a high height, tall guy, but also he's been bowling, 145 plus. I haven't seen him bowl at this sort of pace for a while. He's always been, over 140s, but, he's almost hitting that 150 mark in this tournament and swinging it late as well. So hopefully New Zealand will do exactly what you said, try and, get wickets up front, and that's swing reliant. Southee swinging it away and Bolt swinging it in. If that doesn't work, you can bring on Milne, who can bowl that 150 k's an hour. And then I think Sodhi's the other one. Ish Sodhi, the leg spinner, he's been very successful against India. He's got the most wickets out of any T20 bowler for New Zealand against India. So they'll be looking at him to hopefully have some impetus during this innings and this game. I mean, it's an exciting game for these players. It's every game in a World Cup seems like a must win, except if you're Pakistan now. But, going in and a must win game against India is even more exciting for all of these players. So I think we can expect a close encounter.
We've seen a lot of teams in this competition, though, who open their bowling with spinners. You look at Pakistan and they're opening with Imad Wasim. And a lot of teams are following that kind of strategy. Is that something that New Zealand is also going to be looking at in today's encounter?
I don't think Ish Sodhi is a power play bowler, so they wouldn't look to play him in the power play. But we do have Mitchell Satner, so I think what that allows you to do as well is that if you can bowl the spinner in the power play, you can bring back someone, or someone like Milne or even Harris Ralph. I like using him as an example. He's a fantastic bowler. But like to be able to bring them in not only at the death but through the middle. If you can get wickets through the middle with spin, but mix it up with someone who can, come in and bowl at 150 Ks and mix up the pace, you can look to get wickets. So it allows you for something different up front with a spinner, but also in spin-friendly conditions. I think, we might see Satna open the bowling. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but I think it's all dependent on the conditions.
What about the toss, Grant? We've seen that any team that has won the toss has decided to bowl first because of the advantage and because of the dew factor and so many other. It's a huge advantage in these conditions to be winning the toss, isn't it?
Yeah, I might be wrong, but 14 out of the 18 games, I think, have been won batting second. So we heard Virat Kohli during the pre-game. He sort of said, you can't rely on these stats. As a team, you have to just believe that you can win whether you're batting or bowling first. So as a team, you put that out of your head, but I think everyone knows that it is a little bit easier batting second. The dew factor does come in. I've done a lot of PSLs with you there in Dubai, and we know that it can play a bit of a part. And I think we're seeing a little bit of a trend during this World Cup. So toss, which is fairly soon, is crucial.
From an Indian perspective, now they came into this tournament as strong favorites. They're still a very good side, but the expectation was that they will beat Pakistan convincingly, and they were in for a rude shock when Pakistan won, actually, because they won with 10 wickets in hand. So I think they were kind of taken aback by how that night went for them. And of course, I think the way things started for them kind of set it up with Shaheen Shafiri getting the top order wickets with his sheer skill. So it was a fantastic start for them, but there's been so much talk around their combination now and whether there should be changes and whether there should be someone else coming in. Like Hardik Pandya is somebody who hasn't bowled in a while. And he's not been in the best of forms. There were talks whether he should be in the side. But from what I'm reading just now and what I've read, that he has been somewhat bowling now, though. Like he might be in the side, and he's marked his run up. So that is an indication that this is what I'm reading on the website, that is an indication that he might be bowling. And then there's also that news that Shardul Thakur might be playing instead of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, because Bhuvneshwar has not really, again, somebody who hasn't really been in the best of forms for them. So plenty of options for India as well, Grant. They've got plenty of thinking to do in terms of which 11 they play today.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you make. I think Shardul Thakur, they are talking about him. I think he adds a little bit more batting as well. But I think that was also to make up for maybe the Hardik Pandya missing in the team. So as you've heard, I'll be surprised if he's not in the team, Hardik Pandya. I think that he will play. But what that does is that gives them the sixth bowling option as well. And I think Virat Kohli was someone who was saying he might be that sixth bowling option, which I'm sure he'd rather have Hardik Pandya than himself bowling as the sixth option. They've got a fantastic team. I wouldn't change that team except for Hardik Pandya, who I think should come in. And I think both teams, what they suffered from was early wickets. So they'll be looking to negate that. If India can, keep their batters up top and not lose too many wickets in the power play, they're such a powerful unit. And with Hardik Pandya coming in and perhaps even Thakur coming in, that'll provide them with even more firepower. So that's what they'll be looking to do. New Zealand were the same. They got through the power play all right, but they just lost too many quick wickets and couldn't recover against Pakistan. So the name of the game is keep wickets in hand in the first 6 overs. Don't look to go too hard. I think, that pass score in the first 6 overs, if you can get close to 50 with not too much damage, you can build from there. And let's hope that it's not too spin-friendly conditions because I think that'll suit India. And let's hope it's more seam-friendly conditions and swinging around through the air for the Kiwi bowlers.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of swing in the tournament, just very briefly right in the beginning, a couple of overs, but not really that extreme swing. But that's what you expect from UAE as well. When you look at the way the conditions have played out, it's definitely favored the spinners. The spinners have had their fair share of success. So, I mean, you look at both the sides, and both the sides have that talent aspect. But do you think New Zealand is, or even India is going to be under any sort of pressure today? Because it is an important game. Like I said, whoever wins today has a huge chance of getting into the semis. And New Zealand also, by the way, has a great record over India in World Cups. They seem to have, even in the 2019 World Cup semi-final, I'm sure you remember the kind of spell Trent Bolt bowled, and then he got them in that position. So there is that hold over them in tournaments.
Yeah, New Zealand has been quite lucky against India in world tournaments. And you talk about the pressure. I think this is as big as it gets for the tournament. I mean, a lot of players have made huge sacrifices, to be in these world tournaments, with all the bubbles, and they've been away from home for a long time. And you want to make it worthwhile. You want to be, go over there and, to not make the semis is heartbreaking for any team. So they'll be doing anything they possibly can. I think one of the things we will see is the batting combination of New Zealand was not right in the first game. It was, everyone was really surprised at who was batting where, and Neesham coming in before Conway. I think we'll see a more set batting lineup. The only surprise maybe being, someone like Seifert coming in. If Guptill gets out early, they might push him to the top. But I think, Guptill...
I'm just going to cut you short there, because actually Seifert is not playing. New Zealand has won the toss and they've elected to bowl. And Adam Milner comes in for Tim Seifert, and Devon Conway is going to keep. That's the update.
Excellent. No, so Guptill, Conway, Williamson, Phillips, Neesham, Mitchell. You can look at the team. You know it better than me, Zed. And then you'll have Satna, Sodhi, Bolt, Milne, and Southey. Which, that was a more conventional team. Now, what hurt New Zealand against Pakistan was Ferguson got injured and Milne wasn't cleared to play before the game. So Ferguson, I feel, would have played in place of Tim Seifert. So that's a more conventional team for New Zealand, and probably more one that we would have expected at the start of the tournament. So that's brilliant. And I don't think that they'll mix and match the batting order as much as they did in the last game. So a more settled lineup, and not as surprising against Pakistan. So the players will go into it with clarity of the role that they have and the roles that they've been playing in the last number of years with the lead up to this tournament.
Yeah, and lastly, from an Indian perspective, Surya Kumar Yadav has got a lower back spasm, so he's not playing today. Instead of him, they've got Ishan Kishan, who's one of their IPL stars. And then he'll bat at the top of the order, and Shardul Thakur is replacing Bhuvneshwar Kumar as expected. Bhuvneshwar has not really been in great form, so they've got Shardul Thakur, and and it seems like Hardik Pandya is playing. So you have Hardik Pandya, and then you have Shardul Thakur. So that definitely makes their batting lineup. It strengthens their batting lineup as well.
Yeah, definitely. That gives them more impetus at the back end. So, I mean, it's difficult when you play with a team that has such a long batting lineup. Sometimes you feel like you need to be more explosive, but these are pitches where the average first innings score here at this ground is 144. The highest total, was in 2013, which was 211 by Sri Lanka. So, we haven't seen high scores here for a while. That's because spin has dominated here. It's been generally a little bit slower. So it will be tough for batters going out there and thinking that they can just hit from ball one. But, if they keep wickets in hand, they become so dangerous. This Indian team has power. and that's what New Zealand have to watch out for. They need to get wickets up front, and they need to try and get as much damage as they possibly can.
And this is the best opportunity for them because they've won the toss and they have decided to bowl first, which, like I said, it is an advantage for teams batting second because batting second, it's much easier with all the dew coming around. We've got a question for you. Hey, Zainab, question to Elliott. What total would New Zealand be comfortable chasing?
Oof, yeah. I mean, it depends on the conditions, but I think, that roundabout that sort of, 150 to 170 maybe. I don't think this batting lineup, anything over 170, I think can be tough. We need one of the power hitters to come through. And on that said, I'm going to have to run to the studio to see this toss, to see the team lineup that you've been looking at while we've been speaking. It's really exciting, and I'm sure all the Pakistan fans will be watching as well.
Yeah, we've got loads of fans there. I'm reading all the comments. I'm really sorry we haven't got time to answer all your questions. But thank you so much for your time, G, and your analysis. And good luck for the game. We hope for the best, and I hope that the best team wins.
Thanks a lot, and good luck to Pakistan. Well played, Pakistan. I'm really happy for the team. They've done so well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. You can tune out now whenever you like.
Okay. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Okay, see you. So yeah, that was Grant Elliott for you guys. You heard from him. He feels like 160 mark around that is chaseable. And I think that New Zealand has a huge advantage because now they've won the toss. वो जीत के हैं toss and उसका फायदा हमने देखा है कि वो बाद में जब ड्यू आती है तो फिर थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. अभी तक जितनी भी टीम चेस कर रही हैं उनके पास काफी एडवांटेज रहा है. So it's good that they've won from a New Zealand perspective. From an Indian perspective, मैं यही कहूंगी कि अपनी विकेट्स ना गवाएं जिस तरह शुरू में गवाई थी. शुरू के ओवर्स में if India is able, you see, India has a very strong batting lineup. So if it's Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul opening, अगर वो शुरू के कुछ ओवर सर्वाइव कर लेते हैं तो फिर उनको आउट करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा because that is their skill, that is their capability. So I think they just need to be looking at surviving those first few overs, not try anything extra, not try too hard because that is where वहां से ही मैच बनेगा अगर if they have a chance because they are reliant on their openers a lot to get them those good starts. In fact, अगर openers चल गए, रोहित शर्मा चल गया, तो वो तो फिर 170 से ऊपर भी बात जा सकती है because that's how good he is. If he gets his eye in, then it's literally impossible to get him out. But yes, they have to be watchful, they have to be wary, and they have to be alert. Don't make the same mistakes that you made against Pakistan. जहाँ पे मुझे इस तरह थोड़ा सा लगा कि टीम शुरुआत में थोड़ी सी complacent थी और इतनी alert नहीं थी towards somebody like Shaheen Shafiri because he's a world-class bowler and you have to be on your toes when you're facing somebody like that. So I'm not going to entirely blame the Indian batsmen as well because to be honest, वो जो दो deliveries थी वो अच्छे से अच्छे batsmen को भी trouble करेंगी. I mean, that's how good they were. I don't think many openers would have been able to negate them. But again, Bolt also has that ability because he's left arm, उसका angle पे इस तरह ball नीचे आता है और फिर अंदर भी आता है, बाहर भी जाता है. So ये वो चीजें हैं. I think he'll be looking for swing up front. ये वो चीजें हैं जो इंडिया को देखनी पड़ेंगी. If they make a comparative total, I feel that they will be able to defend it because of the reason that बुमराह है, शार्दुल ठाकुर के आने से फर्क पड़ेगा. वो bowling भी करा लेते हैं, batting भी कर लेते हैं, and then you also have Ishan Kishan in your lineup at the top, तो वो आपको थोड़े extra runs भी देगा. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think it's quite interesting. Do you think Afghanistan can surprise and qualify for semi-finals? कुछ भी हो सकता है जी. अभी तक तो हमें नहीं पता. Because इस अफगानिस्तान ने पाकिस्तान को काफी टफ टाइम दिया था, इतना आसान नहीं था, आसिफ अली ने जिता दिया. But otherwise, let's see what happens. And no, I don't think people should be that dejected with the fact कि टॉस इंडिया हार गया है because देखिए टॉस हारना आपकी कंट्रोल में नहीं है। ये हर टीम पे अप्लाई होता है। कल को पाकिस्तान भी टॉस हार सकता है, कल को कोई भी टीम। यू शुड बी प्रिपेयर्ड इन ऑल सिचुएशन। टॉस जीतना या हारना। टॉस हार गए, अब अच्छा स्कोर करें। स्कोर अच्छा करेंगे तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि न्यूज़ीलैंड कैन चेज़ दैट डाउन, बिकॉज़ एक चेज़िंग का प्रेशर भी होता है और अच्छी बॉलिंग अगर आप कराओ तो इतना आसान नहीं होता चेज़ करना। सो या yes, I am on leave right now. किसी ने मुझसे पूछा आप लीव पे हैं? Yes, otherwise I would have been in Dubai. I would have been covering the World Cup from there. But yeah, I agree that toss doesn't matter. India's top order matters. अगर वो चल गए तो आप देखना सिचुएशन उनकी जो है वो काफी डिफरेंट होगी. Anyway, I think अब चलने का वक्त आ गया है बिकॉज वैसे ही 15 मिनट रह गए हैं मैच खुलने में. तो everybody enjoy the match and I hope दैट जो भी टीम अच्छा खेलती है वो ही जीते, चाहे वो न्यूजीलैंड है, चाहे वो इंडिया है. आई नो इंडियन फैंस बहुत ज्यादा हैं, रियली वांट देयर टीम टू डू वेल. लाइक आई सेड, फॉर देम दैट द की देन इज टू स्टार्ट वेल in the first few overs. Okay, take care everyone. Goodbye.